Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be making a Celtic knot for my cousin's wedding card. And this is going to be a 7x7 shield knot. And I just kind of call all the square knots shield knots. And so the first step here is just setting up the grid. So you'll see there's 7 circles in the middle of each square. And here each square is going to be a 2x2 of the little grid squares. So you put a circle in the center and you put a circle on all of the intersections except for the corners. And now here I'm adding in the break lines, and these are what actually create the design of the knot. You'll see once we start filling it in, the lines bounce off of these break lines and end up making the design of the knot. And here I'm working off my phone because I made a 7x7 that I really liked and wanted to do for this card. And then the next step is to connect all of the dots together. And you do this in a cross-hatching method, first going one way, then the other. And I've made these so many times, I can see where all one direction of parallel lines go, so I do all those first. Oh, made a mistake right there. I can usually see where they all are supposed to go. So I do one direction first, and then I do the cross-hatching second. And now I'm just going around and bouncing the knot off all of the edges and everywhere where those break lines are. So you can see how it makes these really nice rounded shapes. And the corners are a little funky on this knot. But once you make a few of these, you get the hang of it and you know which direction the knots are supposed to go. And now you can see that that is the envelope that I'm going to end up putting the card in. So I'm just taking some measurements of its width and length so that I can cut my piece of paper to size. So you can see the envelope was 6.5 by 4 3/4. And you want to make it a little bit smaller than that so that it's relatively easy to get in the envelope, and then if whoever is opening it wants to put it back in, they can actually do so without ruining the card or the artwork. So I'm just doing a little test fit here, and that fits pretty good. Now I've got my fancy light board out, and underneath the card is what we've made so far to this point. And I'm just going to go ahead and rip some tape and stick it down to the light board so that while I'm tracing, it doesn't move. And this is another nice thing about the grid paper. I'm actually counting the little squares to make sure that the knot is just about as perfectly centered on the card as I can manage. And this is Sakura Micron 05. And I like to use this knot for the perimeter. I also have a 08 and a 10. I'm pretty sure those are millimeters, so this is a 0.5 millimeter pen, and I feel like my 0.8 and 1 millimeters are just a little too thick. So this is my go-to for inking the outline of the knot. And this is the second most time consuming part of making a knot. And this is permanent, so you want to really take your time here and go slow. This is sped up like 2,000% or something like that. So this took a while. And if you pause the video here, you can see there's a couple little sections where I didn't fully connect the lines. So now I'm going to come in with this micron 005. This is a very, very fine line. And I just kind of call this adding detail. I draw 2 lines on every individual section of the knot, and I do my best to keep the spacing off of the outer perimeter that we just inked uniform. But as I'm going through, really looking closely at the knot here, I will go in and tidy up all of those connections. And the audio sounds a little scratchy on this pen here, but when you're actually using it, it does feel pretty smooth on the paper. All right. Now it's time to add some color. And for adding color like this, it's really helpful to have already made this knot beforehand so that you know not only how many individual strands the Celtic knot is made of, but also where they are. So you saw me referencing my phone earlier. So I already know that this knot is made of only 2 strands. So for filling in the pink here, I am just following one line all the way around all the connection points before switching to the green here. And because I know that this knot is only 2 pieces, I don't have to follow the strand all the way through now because I know it's all the second piece. And that's helpful to avoid smudging. These pencils are the Faber-Castell, however you say that. They're really nice. They were quite expensive, and they do smudge a little bit. So with the green, I kind of worked my way across to avoid putting my hand on any of the completed color. And that's the completed knot right there. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the card. Colby, if you're watching this, congratulations, I love you. And for everyone who's made it this far in the video, thank you so much for your support. I know the focus was in and out on this video. I accidentally left the autofocus on, so I apologize about that. But yeah, thanks for your support. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.